The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius stood at the apex of worldly power. He was a man who, by all accounts, could have anything. His word was law across an empire stretching from Britain to Mesopotamia. His resources were limitless, his authority absolute. Yet in the quiet solitude of his tent on campaign or within the marble walls of his palace, he penned a profound and deeply counterintuitive truth into his private journal. A truth that would become his defining practice, the discipline of wanting nothing. This isn't a call to asceticism, nor a romanticized notion of poverty. This is the strategic insight of a man who understood the true nature of power, not as the ability to acquire, but as the capacity to not need. It is the realization that the greatest freedom lies not in limitless choice, but in the deliberate cultivation of internal sufficiency. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, understood that true sovereignty was not over kingdoms, but over his own mind, and that the path to this sovereignty was paved with the conscious release of desire. Think for a moment about the gravitational pull of desire. It is the engine of human striving, the whisper that promises fulfillment just beyond the next acquisition, the next achievement, the next validation. We are taught implicitly that progress is measured by what we accumulate. What we attain, we live in a perpetual state of not yet, our happiness perpetually deferred to a future condition. This constant striving, while often productive, carries a hidden cost. It makes us profoundly vulnerable. Every desire becomes a tether, binding our peace to external circumstances, to people, to outcomes over which we ultimately have limited control. Marcus Aurelius, through his Stoic lens, saw this clearly. He observed that our tranquility is incessantly disrupted by our attachments, by our longing for what is absent, or our fear of losing what we possess. He understood that to be perpetually in pursuit of external things is to live in a state of chronic dependency. If your peace depends on the stock market, on a promotion, on someone else's approval, then your peace is not truly yours. It is a hostage to fortune. The emperor, who commanded armies, knew he could not command fate. He could not guarantee victory, nor health, nor the loyalty of his advisors. What he could command was his internal response to these uncontrollable variables. And the most potent command was to release the fierce grip of attachment, to practice a radical indifference to externals, not because they don't matter in the world, but because they do not define the inner world from which true peace originates. This is not a passive resignation, but an active, almost aggressive, reclaiming of internal territory. It is the conscious decision to anchor your well-being not to the shifting sands of external circumstance, but to the bedrock of your own judgment and choice. When Marcus admonishes himself in Meditations to be content with the present, to not let your mind be disturbed by the whole of life, he is not advocating for inaction. He is advocating for a strategic disengagement from the future's tyranny, from the constant mental projection of what if and if only. He understood that the future, by definition, does not exist in the present, and to live perpetually in its imagined landscape is to forfeit the only moment in which we truly have agency. This one, consider the mind that is constantly chasing. It is like a ship with its sails unfurled, catching every gust of wind, often being blown far off course or into the heart of a storm. This incessant movement, this relentless pursuit, creates an internal agitation, a subtle form of mental slavery. Marcus sought to drop anchor. To want nothing in this context is to furl the sails of desire, to cease being buffeted by every external current, and to find a steady, unshakable bearing within the harbor of the present moment. This doesn't mean the ship never moves. It means its movement is deliberate, chosen, and not dictated by the whims of every passing breeze. What does this liberation enable? If the mind is not consumed by wanting, by chasing, by fearing what it might lose, then it is profoundly free to be. It is free to observe, to understand, and crucially, to act with clarity and precision. Marcus Aurelius was not a recluse. He was a man of immense responsibility, constantly engaged in the practical affairs of governing an empire at war. His practice of wanting nothing was not an escape from action, but the very foundation of his ability to act effectively. When the mind is not clouded by personal ambition, by the fear of failure, or by the allure of glory, it can see problems for what they are and address them with unburdened reason. Imagine a master artisan, perhaps a sculptor, deeply absorbed in their craft. Their chisel moves with an almost unconscious precision. They are not thinking of the praise they might receive, nor the price the piece will fetch, nor the next commission. Their entire being is focused on the texture of the stone, the angle of the cut, the emerging form. Their excellence, their mastery does not come from wanting a specific outcome, but from a profound, non-desiring engagement with the present act of creation itself. The outcome, the masterpiece, emerges from this presence, not from the desire for it. This is the discipline Marcus practiced, to approach every duty, every challenge, every interaction with the same singular, unburdened focus. This then is the ultimate quiet capital. It is not about accumulating wealth or influence in the conventional sense, but about building an unshakable internal sovereignty. The practice of wanting nothing is a radical act of self-possession. A declaration that your peace, your worth, your happiness are not contingent on anything outside of you. It is a reorientation of value, away from the fleeting and external and towards the enduring and internal. This isn't about suppressing natural human needs or ambitions, but about detaching from the agitation that accompanies unexamined desire. It's about distinguishing between a preference and an absolute necessity for your well-being. It's about recognizing that while you might prefer certain outcomes, your inner state does not need to be enslaved by them. It is the profound realization that the only true good lies in your own virtue, your own character, your own choices in this moment. In a world that constantly bombards us with messages of scarcity and inadequacy, urging us to want more, to strive harder for external validation. The ancient wisdom of Marcus Aurelius offers a profound counter-narrative. It is a blueprint for a life of profound strength, clarity, and impact built quietly from within. It teaches us that true power resides not in what you acquire, but in what you release, not in what you chase, but in what you become. It is the ultimate freedom, the quiet capital of a mind at peace, sovereign and sufficient in itself, ready to engage with the world not from a place of want, but from a wellspring of unburdened presence.